All right, we're recording.
And what's up, guys? Welcome back to 480. We're recapping a very sad, very solemn Sun Devils on this Monday afternoon. But overall, it was a decent weekend, but the Sun Devils found themselves losing off a last-minute touchdown, 24-20. We all have opinions on how this game went and where the Sun Devils will go going forward. So make sure to keep on listening because we got some good stuff. Trev. Kai's out of the studio today. Trev, how are you feeling about this game?
All I got to say is if you were a fly on the wall for our pre-production show or our pre-game show before this, I just want to say I got a little bit of direction on my take. The direction I was alluding to is the more pressure being put on the offense in Marcus Arroyo. And what really manifested itself was the statement of needing to employ a rhythm system to make this rhythm quarterback succeed. Now, that's not a bad title, Sam, to be a rhythm quarterback. I genuinely believe every college quarterback is a rhythm quarterback unless your name is Joe Burrow in the Bayou. Okay, that is the one exception. Everything else about this game was screaming rhythm. And I heard them say it millions of times in the press conference. Even the commentators were saying that word. I can't stop thinking about it. And so I would like to say there was necessary pressure and attention needed to be put on the offense, and I wouldn't say that the defense left me on a sour note. They played 3 quarters of amazing football, and I wouldn't even blame them on their first quarter either. It was just like 2 splash plays, and one of them would have been called back even on the referee report. They declared it as a high-low block. That was an illegal play, but no matter what, even if they did get the block off, it still would have been a touchdown. So hindsight 2020, of course, but defense played 3 quarters of amazing football. I don't even put the last play on Brian Ward. That was a conjoined decision by the head coach and the DC. And if anything, I'm really excited for this year, especially in Big 12 play.
Yeah, I think looking at this game, what really stands out to me about Arizona State is that we actually dominated the time of possession, like really bad in this game. It was 37 minutes to 22. Arizona State dominated offensively, running the football. That run game.
All second half, too.
All second half, that run game looked phenomenal.
Can I add a key point to that? What we weren't doing in the first half, we weren't doing north-south running. The running backs weren't running forward. They were trying to juke, and you literally saw Mississippi State pressuring them. There was a time where he gave Raleek a little love tap on his helmet when he was on the floor. It was disrespectful. But I think what they told them at halftime was, hey, just start running forward. Like, stop trying to run side to side. Just run forward, and everything will work itself out. So I just wanted to add that, but keep going.
Yeah, and Kanye Udo looked like that guy that we thought he was going to be.
What an addition, guys.
Raleek continues to look like that guy we thought he was going to be.
I was like, okay, yay.
Dude, yeah. The running backs, it doesn't look like we missed a beat without Cam Scadaboo, but
it took time.
We have to talk about the goal line stand. The running backs weren't able to get it in. The running backs were not able to get it in.
We had Raleek Brown get injured after his 3rd carry. He went 2 carries for 11 yards.
Kyson Brown.
Kyson Brown, Sit Brown. He brought in his entire team and family from his hometown in Mississippi. A very sad story to offer at least 150 to 200 tickets to nothing but family and friends and to go down after your 3rd run. That is heartbreaking, and I feel like that was a component of us not getting that 3rd and goal.
And
you think so?
I have just something about a little bit different from what you're saying. Yes, it hurts when you don't have your number 1 running back in at the goal line. Absolutely.
Because he's my Big 12 runner of the year.
I don't care who's at running back. I don't care if Makua Puli is at running back or offensive lineman. If you were at the 1-yard line in the 4th quarter in a tie game, you have to put the ball in the end zone. You have to put the ball in the end zone. You cannot win football. You cannot win football games without scoring touchdowns in the red zone. So that is in the NFL, college football, high school football. Doesn't matter what level of football. You have to score in the red zone.
I was watching this game with my roommate, who's a very uninformed football casual watcher. Okay, and so what my generalization was about this game, there's 2 things that stay strong with a good football team. If you're a good football team, you can always outplay bad play or bad calls made by refereeing or any sort of, slighting that you get from your opponent, right? You can always outplay it. You can't be cheated if you're a good team. You can always outplay it. So that's why I wasn't resentful about the chop block. The second thing, you do not deserve to win a game if you can't get a convert on a 1-yard conversion. You do not deserve it.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised Kenny didn't even say that. I knew it was just like more like thrill of the game, 8 minutes of time of possession in the fourth quarter, a complete masterpiece of a game plan to close out and get out of Starkville. And it really was situational. Raleek Brown drops before the 10-yard line on that explosive run, and they don't have an extra first down. We're draining the clock, field goal, game over. But Raleek Brown explodes for a 22-yard run and gets tripped right before the touchdown. That was not meant to happen. All of those uncontrollables bring us to that heightened moment, and they folded. They 100% folded. Why are you even trying to run Raleek Brown in the goal line stand? What's the point in that? Why aren't we trying to do more QB sneaks? Why are we running from the shotgun? Why are we running a run from the shotgun?
Why? Okay, as bad as
and there was
as
a
Sam
false
Levitt
start
played,
that caused that. It was so frustrating to see that, and it was just like, all right, guys, we almost outplayed the bad refereeing, but we didn't convert on one of the most important plays of a game, in any game for football.
As bad as Sam Levitt plays, when he has the ball in his hands as a runner, he's still a
And
great
that's what
runner.
they
should.
converted
And
to
I
that.
absolutely agree. They should.
Second half, they converted to him just
They should have put the
QB
ball
power run
in his hands
or extend the play.
and let him read just a simple read option, a little RPO.
Mm-hmm.
Just give him a chance. If you run it up the middle two times and it doesn't work on first and goal and second and goal, maybe just maybe don't do the same thing on third and goal.
So alluding back to the rhythm game plan, why it was necessary was because the first quarter was showing us a lot of overthrows from Sam Levitt. He was missing Malik McClain. He was missing Tyson on some overs. The connection wasn't there either. Anytime it was an intermediate throw, it was inadvertently overthrown. So to that point, it's like you're thinking more bubbles. You want to get, I don't know why we didn't have our tight ends used as much. And we also did see Sam Levitt miss a wide open read too. There were looks waiting for him, but I just feel like we need to get him warmed up and acclimated, especially in these environments.
I think Sam Levitt right now might be trying to do a little bit too much. It seems like the only guy he can hit right now is Jordan Tyson. That's a big concern when you have arguably one of the most talented wide receiving rooms in the entire Big 12, maybe all of college football. Very talented, and they address that in the transfer portal.
And granted, they are doing a lot of 12 personnel, so they're sending out 2 tight ends.
I understand
they're
that, but
not
these
sending
tight
out
ends
3
aren't
receivers.
the
They're
tight
only sending
ends aren't-
Malik and Tyson.
But the tight ends aren't getting involved either.
And yes,
You
you're
have to get
so
your
right. They were
players
using
involved.
them for more blocking, and even they
Yeah,
even
but there's
said
gotta
that.
be- there's gotta be
They
a
said that in the
threat.
conference. He was like, Kamon is playing some of the best football and blocking. We need to get him more involved. And that's why they were so good last year, because they had these really good screen plays. So you could see a tight end screen come out of nowhere, and his yards after catch is a quick first down that keeps the chains moving. And we need some of those easier plays. And I know Kenny Dillingham is thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, he talked about it in his press conference this morning. He said we need to get more players. They need to get more players involved.
Yep.
It's pretty simple. You can't have it where you only have 3 people on your entire team get a catch from Sam Levitt. Now Sam Levitt played very bad, but I'm not worried about Sam Levitt at all.
Yeah.
I think he's still a top quarterback in the country
Because he still had some
I think-
special plays.
Yeah, I think the hype after the NAU game, after the way he played with kind of the Heisman talk a little bit, I do think it may have gotten to his head just a little bit. He's trying to do a little bit too much to show off. I think if he just simplifies his game a little bit and gets into a rhythm, we have to get him into a rhythm, simplify his game, but also have it with have multiple threats. You can't only have one threat at Jordan Tyson because they can eventually someone will take him away.
I think what really went into this game was there was never a moment where they were truly playing complementary football until that fourth quarter. And really, we won the game in that fourth quarter. It was just a miraculous play. I know we're going to talk about that because everyone is seeming to obsess over this last play, blaming it on Brian Ward and how it's the same thing as the Texas play or the same situation. But the truth is, we deserved to win that game in the fourth quarter. We did everything right. We finally had the cards aligned. And even when we had an uncontrollable thing, my favorite play of Sam Levitt's game, when he throws it to Jordan Tyson on a 3rd and 10, Tyson makes a great 10 and out and then drops it because he just looks upfield. If he catches that, that's a converted first down. That's a drive going. And that was a very, very impressive, just quick 10 and out, get the first down, move the chains going. Tyson and Levitt, they were almost in their head just about meeting their own expectations. I don't think anything external has anything to do with that game. I think it was just a situational loss, really. In the game, it was just never really working. We were almost outplaying it, but we just miraculously lost, and it was situationally lost.
I think it was situationally lost, but I think it's also a carryover from the previous week in which they did not look good against Northern Arizona University. That's an FCS school. They gave up 19 points, and they never looked dominant in that game at all. They looked pretty competitive with NAU. And so this is not something like new. This isn't just a one-off performance. Yeah. I think this is absolutely a carryover from last
because they were playing playground ball in the first game. They looked sloppy, and then in the first quarter of the second game, trying to play playground ball as well. Sam Levitt's throws weren't dropping, and you could see his entire aura just dropped after he was overthrowing him. You couldn't really do a passing play. That's why they were showing his graphic of a 3 yards passing yards for the entire first half. 3 yards.
How much of this do you think is on Marcus Arroyo?
I think it's all on Arroyo, and it's all on Dillingham.
Yeah?
And, yes, 100%. And I can't blame anyone else because Brian Ward made the adjustments to make them a good team. The running back coach made the adjustments to make the running backs better runners. The O-line, it wasn't a factor of them giving up sacks. It was just trying to give Sam Levitt the space for him to extend the plays he wanted to extend. So, like, really,
but when you're trying to extend every single play, like Sam was at points during the game, it's going to be tough for the O-line.
That's on Arroyo to give more favorable QB power runs.
He's still a sophomore quarterback.
You get him in rhythm by throwing screen passes and getting your quarterback moving. You got an amazing mobile quarterback. Give him some easy power runs. Have him moving the ball a little bit. It is exactly what I felt like they didn't do with Archie Manning against Ohio State. You got to get the quarterback moving. It's not just about using his arm. It's also about getting him hype, getting him confident. Like, I can do this. I can bully this defense right now. And where was that validation where Levitt was thinking, oh, I can bully this defense? No. Our running game was terrible in the first half, didn't start piecing it together until the second half, and then Levitt really piecing it together with extending plays. It wasn't really any formatted plays. We had some chunk plays that were exactly as aligned, but everything else was just an extension of a play, and that's really that's playground football.
If Sam Levitt's missing wide open receivers, I don't think you can put that on Marcus Arroyo.
No, you got to change the plays. You got to change the plays.
If the receivers are wide open, he's a sophomore quarterback. He's a young quarterback. He's going to learn.
You don't call those plays until the middle of the game when he's more in a rhythm.
Okay, but here's my issue with Marcus Arroyo's game plan outside of the second half. Let's just look at a microscope. I think they called a great second half. Let's look at a microscope. Let's look at the first half. You start with Sam Levitt trying to air it out like he's some kind of air raid quarterback, like he's a Burrow at LSU, which he's never going to be, regardless of how good we think he is on the spot. He's not going to be 2019 Burrow.
There's no one in the league
there's no one in college football, and there's no one in the pipeline that's going to be like that. So, but
there's probably some 8th grader.
Yeah, probably. But they're trying to air it out, which is fine. But Sam Levitt's overthrowing, and then it seemed like in the second quarter, none of the throws were past the line of scrimmage. We were running screenplay after screenplay.
And they were predictable screens.
They were predictable, and it's hard to gain yards when you're consistently starting from the goal line, right? You want to be given some yards on a pass. It's easier to get some yak if you're starting from 10 yards down, if you're starting in a first down, right? Because then the field's a little bit more open to you. When you're running screens every single time, it gets predictable.
And you know why it was predictable? Because we only have 3 receivers on our receiving box score.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
And one of them was a tight end.
One of them was a running back.
Yeah. So if you're telling me, and we weren't even converting our HB screens, we were getting a lot of them batted down.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't look efficient. And you didn't give him an attempt to be efficient either. And that's why he was overthrowing him early, because they were bad throws. I felt so bad. They were chunk plays waiting to be made. And it was just like, dang.
If you just hit Tyson in stride, like, that's 30 yards right there.
Dang.
Well, I think but that's been a problem for the last 3 years since Kenny Dillingham took over at Arizona State. I think that's been the only problem I've really had with him.
Yeah, we start slow.
Was him as a coach, and it's
even, with every Big 12 school.
Even in his first season when they went 3-9 with all the problems that team had, Wasn't his fault that we were 3-9, but the reason was a lot of times the offense wasn't even fun to watch because it was screen pass after screen pass, and I get the talent just wasn't there on that team. But if it's been,
it was also bad because they're doing stupid jet sweeps as well.
Yeah, it's if it's screen pass after screen pass, eventually it gets predictable. It's going to get predictable. You have to be able to hit some of those chunk throws down the field, and I think that's if Sam Levitt's able to hit one or two of those in the first quarter, the screen passes maybe work because then Mississippi State defense is going to play off a little bit, and that's where you can get Tyson involved. That's where you can get Hamilton involved, Moss involved. You can get more guys involved if he hits some of those early throws. But I think even as a sophomore quarterback coming into this game, if he's as good as he claims he is and as everyone else thinks he is, you have to be able to hit those throws every once in a while. I get you're going to have he's going to have bad games. It's going to happen. I think this is a great time to have a bad game of all games.
Non-conference play is the most ideal time.
We can show this on the pod, guys. Oh, no.
Never mind.
Never mind. We will. But yeah, no, I agree with all those.
I mean, here's the thing about running screenplays. You need to stretch the defense out. That's an important part of playing football. You need to be able to make them respect the pass. But when you're not hitting anything downfield, and in the first half, when you're not running the football well at all, they ran a good and great in the second or in the third and fourth quarter.
Yep.
They did not run it well in the first half. When there's no threat to run the ball and there's no threat that Sam Levitt can even hit the broadside of a barn 5 yards down the field, then they can just prepare for those screen passes because they know everything's going to be RPO or a screen. And Trev is showing us a play now. Let's see it.
Harpool, wide open. And instead, he's not in a rhythm, so he throws an overthrows a 10 and out.
Yeah.
You look at the replay, and Harpool is wide open. But don't call this play right now. Call it in the middle of the game at least. Get him going. You just got your first down.
That is a tougher throw than it does look. You have the two linebackers over there. You have to fit that over there without getting him hit.
That's a tough throw.
It's
no,
a tough.
If he was on time, he has that throw every time.
No, he has a throw every time. I'm saying it's a tougher throw than it looks from how open he is.
I understand.
If that ball's in the air, that's
he's going
to get hit. So
they showed the red zone view later, and it wasn't a tough throw. If he really opened up, the commentators literally highlight that play later in the game. He said, Levitt's just missing him right now.
Yeah.
You can't miss, though, some really smart screen plays. Can't miss some good little QB power runs where all he has is one little read and then he's running for 5 yards. You can't miss those. So we got to give him easier looks for him to adjust a bit.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a disappointing game from Sam. He hasn't looked that stellar this year, even though he did rack up some statistics in that NAU game. It's not like he was looking.
He looks like a slept-on quarterback, you know,
and that's probably better for him.
Any scout that sees him, if they're a real good scout, they're like, oh yeah, like I could work with this, you know. Yeah. And any good OC, like, oh yeah, I could work with this for sure.
He's still a raw talent. This is only his
he's raw
14th, 15th game playing in college. That's not a lot of games to go on. Now he should have some of the experience, and that's why I think in this game
it's also
he should have played better.
He's maybe had like 3 hostile away atmospheres.
Yeah, Tech.
Cincinnati was because that was a homecoming.
He didn't play in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, that wasn't. So then
just Tech,
and then maybe the Kansas State was hostile. And then Texas State. Texas State was probably more hostile than Kansas State.
Probably.
Because they were so bought into what they had. So Texas State, Texas Tech, and Mississippi State. That's 3 hostile environments.
And Mississippi State's a whole nother level in terms of just environment to those
It's
schools.
like Texas Tech level.
Yeah, like that. The cowbells were so annoying to listen to, but I can't imagine being in that stadium.
That's why I wish I was at that game. That would have been fun.
Yeah, man. But let's talk about
Let's talk about the last play.
Let's talk about it. It's time. All
right.
We'll talk about the blown coverage. The question is, how much of that is on game planning from Brian Ward?
That is all on Kenny Dillingham.
Well, Kenny Dillingham isn't calling that defensive play.
It's a combination of the head coach.
It's both of them because it's a third quarter. It's a fourth quarter, 3rd and 7.
You're checking with the head coach.
They just called the 2 high safeties, and their wide receiver for Mississippi State drops a curl route that would have put them 5 yards away from field goal possession. Now, their mindset, they said this on the microphone, they wanted to blitz him so they can just end the game right there because they don't want to allow another first down and for Mississippi State to knock in a field goal and get into overtime and them to play in a hostile overtime game. They wanted to avoid that outcome. By no means did they expect a touchdown to be let go from that play call. And of course, no coach is going to throw their young player, Breedlove, under the table on not passing off his man and continuing to backpedal because it's not logical to cross your teammate on man coverage. You don't cross on man coverage. You hand the man off. If he's running towards you, he becomes your man. If the other guy starts running towards the other guy, he becomes his man. And you just keep backpedaling. But Breedlove sunk his hips. He bid on the first route. As soon as he saw someone coming at him, he didn't look at the guy looking at him. He looked at the guy who was lined up in front of him at the beginning of the play. So he ISO'd that one guy, sank his hips, and there goes the other receiver, and it's a blown man coverage. Really, they were running zone coverage on the left side of the field and ran man coverage on the right side of the field, but it ended up being moot because Levy just made two. Really, he got the two mesh routes to act as a decoy, and we ended up looking like a goof with 4 DBs and 2 receivers, and then a wide open receiver with no deep safety because the one safety we had in the backfield dropped to cover one of the drags. So it was outcoached by Jeff. We were outcoached by Jeff Levy.
I agree we were outcoached, but I'm gonna refute one thing you said. The attitude was let's not go into overtime with this team. The attitude should have been let's not lose in regular time in against this team. That's that if we're
they didn't think they would have.
If we're gonna, of course they didn't think that.
It's hindsight 2020, but they really thought like
I'm saying attitude.
There's no splash play from this.
If you're gonna go into a play in the fourth quarter with the attitude of let's not do this, then it shouldn't be let's not get to overtime. It should be let's not lose. Like I'm not necessarily for playing not to lose, but if you're gonna play not to do something, it should not be to play not to tie and give yourself the more talented,
it's not
the better
playing
team.
It's playing to win, and their identity of winning was winning with the defense. It wasn't winning with an overtime thriller. It was we just dominated the time of possession. Our defense has played 3 quarters of amazing ball. We're playing to win right now. If Zay doesn't trip, or if that blitz, or if the safety doesn't, or if Breedlove doesn't sink his hips, there's 2 missed assignments on those. Both of them, or one of them was more uncontrollable. But
yeah, you can't really prevent yourself from slipping. That happens.
Well, he didn't slip. He got tripped by the wide receiver 3.
Exactly.
Yeah,
who's doing a drag route.
You can't really prevent that one. I can't blame Alfred for not getting there.
I still think that throw would have gotten off.
I do too.
I think it would have been a much tougher throw, and I think there was a better chance he gets tackled in bounds.
Shapen sat in that throw. Like he was patient with it. He knew he was like, oh, I got a little bit more time than usual. I'm gonna give him an extra love.
He doesn't have that kind of time.
But if he
gets there.
Here's the thing. Thompson is faster than everybody on the field.
No, Thompson already had the separation before the throw was even off.
No, I know.
Because
but
once Breedlove sinks his left.
That's what I'm saying. The second Breedlove took the wrong
once he
read,
hips,
Shapen knew.
over.
It didn't matter if there was pressure in his face.
Exactly.
Shapen knew where the ball needed to go, and Thompson was going to be able to get
there. He saw the hips were sank. He was already throwing it.
He would have his ability to get it off in a certain amount of time. If he doesn't get off, if he's getting hit, how much tougher is a throw when
it's more uncomfortable.
It's more uncomfortable, and you're more likely to make a mistake. If Alfred doesn't slip, yes, he gets the throw off. He's not sacking the quarterback.
He's not getting there cleanly. It's not going to be
he may hit his
rush to the passer.
He may hit his arm.
How you usually address football is you don't look at the uncontrollables. You looked at who outplayed who, and Shapen outplayed us by reading that DB and throwing it no matter if he was getting hit or not.
And I'm just gonna make another point. We should not have been playing cover 0 in the fourth quarter.
Well, we just gave up a first down if the guy caught it on cover 4.
If that's
and that's what
fine.
was working,
and that's fine.
It wasn't fine because they were 5 yards away from a field goal.
Because the clock is still running. And who says
it would have stopped? It would have been a first down.
And who says he makes the field goal? I'm not saying he wouldn't have made it.
He was a
record breaker last week.
He's absolutely more likely to make the field goal than not. But overtime, losing. Overtime,
winning,
losing.
Winning
in overtime.
now or overtime. Let's just win now instead of winning in overtime.
I mean, yeah, you saw their last offensive possession. They couldn't cap it off, man. Like they struggled.
Yeah, let's just win on our defense right now. Let's just win it. Let's just win it. Let's just do it.
Yeah, man.
If you're gonna play prevent the entire drive, you don't switch to cover 0 on a play and let.
I mean, if the play before you just gave up a very bad first down, if the guy doesn't drop it, I don't know. You're starting to think a little bit. You ever play Madden? You're not doing the same thing back to back if you just got exposed.
You got to think they're 15 yards away from being in field goal
they say
range.
no
You're
first
gonna
down allowed.
Think of it. They were essentially
if they
playing,
blitz them, throw the check down.
I don't understand what's so bad about
them.
them being in field goal range. You give yourself a chance to win the football game.
Yes, but
you're
they
giving
weren't-
yourself a chance to win.
But here's the thing, Jacob. If they play the call correctly, if Breedlove doesn't go on the wrong assignment, he's at least covered. Okay? So you can't script Breedlove making a mistake. Breedlove's a senior. He needs to know who his man is in that situation. Brian Ward isn't counting on his guy making a mistake. He's trying to defend those 15 yards. So of course he's not going to play prevent.
And they're
Prevent
playing to
works. Prevent works when they're 30 yards away or 40 yards away. But when you're within 15 yards and you're really not trying to go to overtime, they're not even thinking about a loss at this point because they're not expecting
problem.
They're trying to
because they're
close
not
out.
expecting
They're trying to
Breedlove.
close
They're
out.
trying to close out this game right now.
And they lost by attempting to close out, and that happens, and that's why Kenny was so happy.
But part of
It was
closing
a
out is keeping
miraculous
everything
play.
in front of you.
But
you
that's
talk about
not-
this in
that's
NFL
not a
games. You
scheme
can't let the guys behind you. And guess what? And it is a scheme thing because there's
They
no one,
gave them
no one's-
12
no
yards
one-
of cushion.
If you're playing,
It was a missed assignment.
if you're playing cover 2 or even cover 1, no one's getting in behind the deep safety. That's my point. You can't let.
But Breedlove was the safety.
When you're trying to,
he's not supposed to bite on that under route.
but he's not playing as a deep safety. He's playing as a.
I
as an
I understand that, but
I'm
he's
saying you
far
should be
enough
playing
back
one.
to-
You should be playing one deep safety. That's my point. You should be playing one deep safety.
And they did,
There's
and they
no
were
reason-
playing one deep safety, but then they had this deep safety stunt and guard the drag.
Yep.
So that's just a Jeff Lebby's just decoying 2 really smart routes and then giving his 2 guys an opportunity to just win with their speed, and that's what they did. And at no point were they thinking, "Oh, Jeff Lebby's about to go for like a 50-yard hail Mary right now."
With 40, I say it was about 45 seconds left when they scored. When the ball was snapped, about 45 seconds left.
So yeah, if they get a first
they're-
down,
right
they
now,
got 30
yeah,
seconds
they
left.
They get a first down.
Another 5 yards, boom, kick the field goal, boom, overtime.
Okay, yeah.
They were
great.
like, nah, we're not doing
But
first
why
down.
are you not? Isn't it, as a coach? Isn't your job to plan for the worst?
Plan for the worst. And yeah, you do plan for the worst, but when you're succeeding and you have that much momentum in the fourth quarter, you're really just planning to win. You're planning to start the buses and get the F out of there. And that's really what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the F out of Starkville.
No, I agree.
And
but
it bit them in the ass. Jeff Lebby was like, "Oh, you guys want to get out of here? Bet I'm gonna go for it all then."
that's
That's
what I'm
just
saying.
that's the SEC coach right there.
Then that's on
who's-
the coaching staff.
Exactly. We keep saying that Jeff Lebby outcoached Brian Ward and Kenny Dillingham in that play, and we lost from a play. It happens.
Okay, let's do a little rewind. Let's talk about 2024 Arizona State against Mississippi State because that's a game everybody was referencing going in. I don't know if you guys remember. I talked to you a little bit about this. Yeah, no. Scattaboo went crazy, 200 yards, but we got that production out of 2 running backs this time. But Arizona State barely held on to that game.
Yeah.
They barely held on to
And he fell before any game they were up 30
Mississippi State last season was one miraculous play away from beating ASU in the same way that they beat us now.
But it would have gone to overtime. Same thing. Like
Well,
if
not necessarily.
ASU won by 7. They were
Yeah,
up 30.
well,
they were up 30.
Yeah, I know, but
they
we were gonna punt it away and give them an opportunity to score and tie it.
Yeah, exactly.
They
It
are
would've
one,
gone to
okay.
overtime.
Fine. Let's say they're one miraculous play away from going to overtime. That was a 2-10 Bulldogs team, and Arizona went and rattled off a bunch of wins, finished the year with 2 losses. Okay, the reverse happened this year. ASU got burnt on a play, and they're going to be fine.
I agree.
They're going to be fine.
Absolutely going to be fine. That doesn't, for me, just doesn't make the play any more acceptable than what it was. And let's not forget ASU. I think referencing what ASU did after that game last year. That's not an ASU team who really believed that they were something. They believed that they can win more games.
I think in the locker room they believed they were
Yeah.
something.
We did.
No, I don't think that early they believed because they.
When do you
It
think
was
they-
after
when do you-
Wyoming, bro. It was after Wyoming. I
'Cause
promise you.
Dude,
After Wyoming, we knew.
I think it was after the Utah game is when they
'Cause it
really
was like-
believed that they were something.
it was
better.
like
Oh,
under-
but you have to
I
have
know
that
it was the Utah
belief
game.
going into the Utah game to win that game,
Utah
despite
game,
the fact that Utah
was
wasn't
not good, and their quarterback had a hand.
But
I'm not
no
saying
one
that's why
believed
ASU won,
that.
but
It wasn't. It was just once you saw them put it on tape, That's all it takes. Just put it on tape. And that's what they did on Saturday. That's why we're so happy, because they put it on tape. They put a good running game on tape. They put a good defense on tape. They put their star players on tape. And now it's just, okay, now let's put our star coaches on tape. Let's coach these games better. Let's get them prepared better. Let's get these running backs running north-south earlier. Let's get these smarter play calls earlier. And I promise you, all these puzzle pieces are going to align perfectly because of this game.
It's a positive. No, it's a positive game.
They put it on. They put the right things on tape.
There's a lot of things to take away that were positive from this game. But that doesn't make anything that happened in the fourth quarter or any of the negatives that came from the game. That doesn't make them any less. That doesn't make them any less negative. It will not. I agree. It will not impact the rest of their season.
None of it's
and
acceptable.
It should not impact the rest of their season.
None of it's acceptable, right? Not getting a fourth down or a third down conversion on the one. Failing to do it 3 times, not acceptable. Brett Love missing his missed assignment, not acceptable. You're so right. Marcus Arroyo not helping out his really good quarterback in the first quarter, not acceptable. But all you can really do is just appreciate what you did good on and expand on it. And we put some really good stuff on tape. We're going to expand on it, and we're going to prevent these types of situations from occurring in the future.
Yeah, it's great that it happened.
And we got to win our close score games. We got to win our close games.
Yeah,
and we did. We were there. We were there, guys. We were there.
I mean, to a degree, at some point, you got to expect them to lose one of these games. I mean, they won almost every single close game they had last season. Eventually, I don't care how good you are. I don't care if you're Ohio State, Notre Dame, who I'm going to talk about.
But you
do
care when you're 12th in the country and now you're unranked,
which is unbelievable.
Which is unbelievable and ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Florida lost at home to South Florida and they dropped, right? ASU goes into a hostile Mississippi State game, but because they're known as the bottom feeder of the SEC, instant disrespect. You don't understand, bro. We are going to be climbing for the rest of the season.
Good.
We won't touch the top 10 until literally like the second to last week of the year.
And that's good. That's good. That's what this team needs.
And
that's where they succeeded last year so well, was being the underdog, being the ones that no one talked about. If no one's talking about us or talking about us in a negative way, yeah, if no one's talking about this Arizona State team or they're talking about them in a negative way, that's where this team thrived last season.
Oh yeah, we're good.
Was being underdog. That's where Kenny was able to get the guys going, and I think that's really why they were successful last season.
Can I give you guys my favorite quote from Kenny? He says it in halftime. This is the best thing that could happen to us right now.
Really? Is that what he said going into half?
He's not even going in the halftime speech. He says, this is the best thing that could happen to us right now.
Because he talked about
and I'm so happy for that. That's why it's not Arizona sports, bro. This is so like different. This is so like crazy, like dynasty, Bill Belichick, Brady type era. Like this is crazy.
I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, seriously, we're
good.
But
I'll make the point that Kenny Dillingham did talk all offseason about complacency, and he hates complacency more than anything. And he saw the offense. He was like, we went out there and we had a great practice, but I just didn't see it. I just didn't see that fight. And so that's maybe what got caught up on this ASU team. In that first show, we're talking about potentially a game drop due to complacency.
Absolutely.
We didn't know it would come this early. You alluded to it, Trev, but you ended up picking Arizona over Mississippi. But you alluded to it that maybe there's a chance that Arizona State goes into Mississippi complacent. And here's the thing. Last year, 2-10, everyone knows how the story went for Mississippi. But people forget that Blake Shapen did miss most of last year. Blake Shapen, I wasn't high on him. He looked pretty good in this game. Like, all things considered, he looked pretty good. He was dealing at some points. He had a rough second half, but he was cooking in the first half. Mississippi State will win more than 2 games this year. They already have 2 wins. Yeah. They're going to win a couple SEC games.
SEC, yeah.
They're not going to be the bottom feeders they were last year. Give it 5-6 weeks, and this loss won't look quite as bad.
And
go ahead.
And let's not forget Notre Dame last year. They started 1-1. They lost to Northern Illinois at home.
Yeah.
At home in South Bend, they lost to Northern Illinois. No, I don't. Last time I checked, Mississippi State's a little bit better than Northern Illinois is.
Yeah.
Notre Dame went to the national championship last season and was one blown coverage on third down away from possibly going down and tying that football game.
Can I give you a better comparison? Saban's last year, Alabama, Jalen Milroe losing to South Florida.
Yep.
And then they come back. Jalen Milroe comes back and has the best season, and they make the they made the CFP Saban's last year. They just lost, I think.
Yeah, because they lost to
Michigan.
That's what it was.
They lost to Michigan.
They lost to the game winners.
And that was a
And they
that
beat
team was
Georgia.
that Michigan team was a wagon.
They
bro.
beat Georgia in that year. Like they went on to win out. Yeah, they lost to Michigan by 7 points, but beat Georgia in the Final Four.
I think this next week against Texas State will be really telling of, is this team the same for real team that we believe it is?
But they snuck by Texas State last year.
No. But they weren't coming off a loss. They were coming off a big win. First win against an SEC school in 12 years.
In the program's history.
Not in the
Program's history. Yeah, it was the
Program's
first
history.
SEC win ever.
We documented that. We were big on that.
Because I forgot when they played Missouri like years ago. Missouri was still in the Big 12. So
we were talking about it. Their players were even talking about it.
Yeah,
that's
that was
why,
a big deal.
That's why we did have so much buy-in early.
Exactly. We were coming off a big win. Now, what's this team look like? How good is this team coming off a big loss? That's what's going to be showing in this coming week. Is this team? Because a lot of teams, and Arizona State in the past, for the years that I've been watching this team, after they lose this one, they lose the next one. They lose 2 more after that. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but this week will show, is Arizona State for real? Does Kenny Dillingham really have the buy-in that we all believe he does?
Can I add a counterpoint to that? I think they already showed it. What I was texting my best friend at halftime, I said, this second half is going to make or break our season. This will show me everything that I need to see. And it did.
Camera cut out.
Oh.
It did. It did.
Finish that thought and then we'll wrap.
Yeah, I'm down. It did. That shit was so funny.
It's definitely the heat of the camera.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too.
Okay. All right. Finish your thought. We're wrapping.
All right, so I'm just and I'm sending all these the smirk emoji, and that's when they're starting to come back. Like that's after a good, out of the first half or out of the halftime, they start moving the ball on the ground. I'm telling you, they showed me everything I need to see. Everyone has their own take. Like TCU is your take. Some people think it's Iowa State. Kai thinks it's Utah, right? I thought it was Baylor. Guys, this is everything that we needed as a team, and I think Big 12-wise, we are primed and prepared. I don't think anyone can keep up with us in this conference. We're an SEC team. We're competing with the top heavy SEC schools right now, in my honest opinion. Yeah, we're a really good school. We're a really good team. We're an NFL team.
I think that's what they've shown with the roster. But until the product's on the field, I can't agree.
It's just been a little bit of coaching, bad coaching, a little bit of bad performances,
and Marcus
a little bit
Arroyo's known for that.
A little bit of situational opponents as well. You play a really talented Jeff Lebby offensive coordinator who called a great game for Blake Shapen, and a really hostile environment where it was a 12th man type of defense, and then you're playing an NAU team that spent all summer preparing for their one Super Bowl game against a real FBS opponent, and they gave us the craziest looks a defense could offer. They even admittedly said that they were outcoached by NAU. This is so situational right now. Things are going to start getting more calm. We're going to simplify things. We know how to play Big 12 football. We did it all last year. We're the reigning champions of the Big 12. We'll get acclimated. We'll start playing our game, and it's wraps.
One more question. How long does it take for it to no longer be situational and be the real identity of this team? Because now it's 2 straight. That's why I'm saying next week's.
No. I don't even need to see anything. We showed
it.
Our identity.
Say they lose.
What if they lose?
Our identity was losing to Texas State, guys.
No, I'm saying that would break
what you're saying,
guys. We would change the whole trajectory of our season and podcast. We wouldn't even be talking about ASU as contenders anymore if they lost to Texas State.
That's what we're saying.
No, but we shouldn't be saying that because that's a waste of time.
Okay.
These guys are.
It was a hypothetical.
No. These guys are contenders for the Big 12. It's not. Let's not get it twisted here. They're not going to lose to Texas State. This is the bounce back game, but it's not going to show me anything that fulfills my confidence. It's already fulfilled. It showed me the identity. We ran really good football on the offense in the second half. We actually ran it more than good. These guys were getting 10-yard first downs all the time. I was screaming at the TV at Ye. Like Kanye, he didn't get any playing time in the first game. Now he just looks like a superhero in the second game when Sip goes down. Yeah. And especially Sip's injury as well. I genuinely believe Sip is a top 5 Big 12 runner. So he's got this. We've got a lot going for us right now.
There's good thing. At some point, I just need to see it on the field. I can look at all the hypotheticals.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I need to see it.
Everyone has a different lens, of course. So
It'll show, especially in our first couple Big 12 conference play games.
In our TCU game.
Baylor, TCU.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
when
In
it's
the
gonna
first
show.
home game, TCU, that's when we'll probably build it out.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're black right now, so we will wrap this show. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the 480 experience.
Cool. We'll just put a little. Oh, I made a cool thumbnail too.